Diane Carroll. So Cicely Tyson, Diana Ross, Dorothy Dandridge have all been nominated and didn't win. And this is the people that were nominated, not even the ones that actually should have been nominated. So, we all know the battle with the Oscars, but nevertheless, this is not what this is not what this episode is really about. It's about the Woman King.
You're listening to the What's Up with DJ podcast with your host and personal development coach, David DJ Lloyd Jr. Each week, he brings you current events and trending topics from a spiritual perspective, including career development, finance, holistic living, and life hacks, along with stories that invoke humor and inspiration. So if you're ready, let's join the podversation. Here's DJ.
Welcome to another episode of What's Up with DJ. I'm your host, DJ, and each week I bring you topics about current events from a spiritual perspective, and this week is nothing less. So I know you get a ton of requests for you to subscribe to people's channels, but your pushing that subscribe button helps grow the channel, and it definitely helps the What's Up with DJ podcast to grow. So please be sure to hit the subscribe button and like this episode. With that being said, let's get right into the show. Finally, I had a chance to see The Woman King, starring Viola Davis, which was really impressive. I really was impressed by this film. The script, the storyline, the acting, the action sequence were all excellent. And of course, I was really impressed with Viola Davis's performance.
When it rains, our ancestors weep for the pain we have felt in the dark hulls of ships bound for distant shores. When the wind blows, our ancestors push us to march into battle against those who enslave us. When it thunders, our ancestors demand we rip the shackles of doubt from our minds and fight with courage. We fight not just for today, but for the future. We are the spear of victory. We are the blade of freedom.
I think she gave an Oscar-winning performance, and she definitely should be considered for an Oscar. And for Golden Globe, Actors Guild Award, all of that. Hopefully, she'll win her second, and this time for Best Actress, because a previous Oscar was for Best Supporting Actress. And interesting enough, that the only woman of color who have won an Academy Award for Best Actress is Halle Berry in 2002 for Monsters Ball, which was 20 years ago.
And the Oscar goes to Halle Berry in Monsters Ball.
This is the first Oscar for Halle Berry.
This moment is so much bigger than me. This moment is for Dorothy Dandridge, Lena Horne, Diane Carroll. It's for the women that stand beside me, Jada Pinkett, Angela Bassett, Vivica Fox, and it's for every nameless, faceless woman of color that now has a chance because his door tonight has been opened.
It's interesting that it's been that long since a woman of color has won an Oscar. And if you think back on some of the performances that have been nominated, just nominated by the Oscars, it has been things like Cynthia Erivo for Harriet. Of course, Viola Davis, who was nominated for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom when she played Ma Rainey. Andrea Day for The United States versus Billie Holiday when she played Billie Holiday. And Whoopi Goldberg, Diane Carroll. So Cicely Tyson, Diana Ross, Dorothy Dandridge have all been nominated and didn't win. And this is the people that were nominated, not even the ones that actually should have been nominated. So, you know, we all know the battle with the Oscars, but nevertheless, this is not what this is not what this episode is really about. It's about The Woman King and about why you should go see it, because I think it's just an amazing movie. And I've been looking at some of the interviews that Viola Davis has done promoting the film, and she talked about how she had to fight for everything.
You know, this movie, like I said, people talk about the vision of the movie and then they see it on screen. Nobody talks about the fight in between to get it made. And it is a fight. It's a fighting for everything, for the actors, for the concept, for the director, for a proper budget. It's a fight. And you're fighting for something that is quite obvious. Because at the end of the day, really what it's about is, can black women lead a global box office? Is the movie worth being distributed? We've known it all along that we could do it. We've known that we've had a kick-ass script. We know it's undeniable. And so now the world knows. It feels right.
So, and this is a very rare type of film. And it's done well. For, I think, the first week, it made 20 million the first week. And that's pretty good, considering that they thought it was going to make between 12 and 16 million, and made, you know, over that. So that's a good thing. And I'm going to go back to see it again, because not only I want to support the film, but also I want to see it again because it was so powerful. So if you haven't checked it out, be sure to check out The Woman King. You will be blown away by it. It has been some criticism.
If you don't come see it, then you're sending a message that black women cannot lead the box office globally, that you are supporting that narrative.
After putting out the call last week at the Toronto International Film Festival on E-Talk, Viola Davis is celebrating that people showed up to see The Woman King this past weekend, writing on Instagram, "Thank you all for making The Woman King the #1 movie in America." But now Viola, who is also a producer on the movie, is having to answer the call to boycott The Woman King on Twitter because of historical inaccuracies. Speaking with Variety yesterday, most of the story is fictionalized. It has to be. Another producer and Viola's husband, Julius Tenen, says The Woman King is edutainment, explaining, "It's history, but we have to take license. We have to entertain people. If we just told a history lesson, which we very well could have, that would be a documentary. Unfortunately, people wouldn't be in the theaters doing the same thing we saw this weekend. If people want to learn more, they can investigate more." Viola says what's more important than analyzing the historical accuracy of the film is analyzing the reaction it's getting from black women. They're all chanting and ruminating that cannot be quantified by words. It's an undeniable, powerful story. We're in an industry that doesn't see the power black women have at the global box office.
Woman King, baby.
You know, it's a fictitious story about people who really existed. And why do people want to tear that down? Couldn't possibly tell you. But it's always, it's why it's so difficult to create movies like this, because it doesn't get the type of attention that it needs to get, and also doesn't get the budget. People don't believe in the project. And then, of course, you got people who want to boycott for just ridiculous reasons. There's tons of things out there that affects the African American community in a negative way. Go boycott that stuff. This movie is not something to boycott. There's other things that are going on that you seriously need to be boycotting. This movie isn't it. Another thing that came to mind when I wanted to know, this show is about spirituality and living your best life, and it's about using spiritual principles to enhance your life. That's really what this podcast, this YouTube channel, that's what it's all about. Because spiritual principles have enhanced my life, and I definitely would like to help others do just that. So, one of the things that I want to talk about is, why do we fail? Why do we fail? And there is such thing as failure. To me, what failure is when we set a goal in mind regardless of how wishy-washy that goal is, when we don't meet our expectations or the expectations of others. I am a spiritual person, but I'm also a realist as well. So and then, people, when I say people don't have a goal in mind, what I'm saying is that your goal is not fully visualized. You haven't really created an outcome for yourself about how you're going to feel on the way to that goal, and how do you want to feel when you achieve that goal. What's the time period that you would like to achieve the goal? How will the goal impact your life and the people that you love? So that's what you really should be thinking about when you're trying to create a goal. How it's going to affect me, people that I love, how I'm going to feel when I achieve that goal. All those things makes a great goal, regardless how small or how big your goal is. And sometimes people create their goals based off of what they see others have. Like, this is what my brother have, my sister have, my mom and dad, my friends, what I've seen on TV, commercials, movies, my favorite celebrity. They sort of develop their goals based off what they are seeing around them. And maybe that person that you are looking at, maybe they sat down and actually did just that. They did the things that I just described, and they are experiencing what they have desired. And you have to do the same thing. Not just assume that because, they're happy with that house or that car or that job or that salary or whatever it is that you think they're happy with. It may not be for you. So you have to determine your own goals based off of your preferences, off of your own personal desires, and the things that actually bring you joy. And when you think about some of the things that bring you joy, what does bring you joy? Some people don't really know what that is. They really have a small perspective on what brings them joy. People say that they want to just watch TV all the time or watch Netflix all the time. And that may be true, and I enjoy a good Netflix movie too, but there are greater things out there to experience that also bring you joy. So you also have to widen your mindset in terms of goals as well, because having a small world makes your idea of desires very limited. What I think is really, really important when it comes to succeeding versus failing, and this particular segment is about, why do people fail? For number one, people fail because they have no real goal in mind, right? That's the number one reason why people fail. Number two reason people fail is no vision of what the outcome will be, and without no vision, then you sort of kind of are out there throwing a dart in the wind. And we don't want that, right? We want to, what do you see yourself doing? What do you think about? What does it look like? And how does that feel? I think a person's goals should come out of inspiration, about what motivates you, what brings you joy. You got to know what those things are. And without knowing what brings you joy, then you're going to be living pretty small. So when someone tells me that their joy is just sitting in front of the TV watching Netflix, which is a great pastime, but it's not a goal. What's going to help you and the people around you, and help your friends, your family? That's the kind of goals that you should be setting in mind. So think about those things. Think about, if like a car, with a car, I'm going to drive to work. That job gets me income, it gets me money. So that's a great goal. Even a house is a great goal, because It's going to provide a roof over my head. It's going to provide me shelter. It can be considered an investment. My family's going to come visit me. It's going to provide shelter for my family. My friends are going to come visit me. So you're going to have a lot of great experiences in your house. So that's why a house, a car, a job is a great goal, or even a salary, saying, hey, I want to make this much money. With that money, you're going to also create great experiences for yourself and for your family and friends. So that's what you have to think about when determining a goal, about how many people is it going to help, it's going to inspire, how it's going to benefit you and the people around you. And if you do those things, like just determining what your goals are by just understanding how you can help yourself and your family and your friends, then the joy will be there, the passion will be there, the focus, all those things come into perspective just simply by applying that, how it's going to help me and the people around me. Another thing that is a reason why people fail is fear. Fear is a big deal. I read a book years ago by an author named Susan Jeffers, and the book is called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And it's a great book because it is true. Fear isn't going anywhere. I don't care how advanced you get in your career, how successful you get. So, and that's always going to happen, especially if you're setting goals, because you set goals to pull yourself out of one condition into another condition. That would imply that it's going to be some change. Change is going to happen, and it means also that you're going to have some things happen to you that are going to be unfamiliar territory for you because of you're asking for something different than you already have. Fear is a natural part of the process, and that you still keep pushing ahead. And I had a conversation with a person a few days ago, and we talked about discipline. And one of the things that people feel they lack is discipline. And procrastination is a big issue for a lot of people. And the reason why that is because sometimes we don't choose the best goals, ask for things that we really don't want. We ask for things that we may want at the time, and then by the time we get it, we already have moved on. So sometimes goals that we set are very wishy-washy. When you think about goals, think about long term. What am I going to need a year, 2 years, 5 years from now, so that when it shows up, it's what you still need. I like to apply discipline to short-term goals. And because anytime that you have to be on top of something all the time, you're going to get tired of that real quick. So always think about discipline for short-term goals, and for long-term goals, it's all about purpose. It's about why I'm doing what I'm doing. Who is it going to help? Who is it going to benefit? How is it going to affect my life? How is it going to benefit the people around me? Because again, if you think about that, you are always going to have the focus, the passion, and the drive, the discipline, the purpose. All of it shows up by just creating a goal that supports those things. And also procrastination. Procrastination, again, as I said, is a very difficult thing for a lot of people because they want to do something else. I always say do the fun stuff first. Do the fun stuff first. And once I begin doing the fun stuff first, it's amazing how I will begin to be willing to say, okay, well, I got the juices flowing. Let me go ahead on and continue on doing the next thing that I need to do. So I would say always do the fun stuff first. Some people think they have to do the hard stuff first. No, do the fun stuff first. And if you don't get around to doing the hard stuff, at least you got something done. So do the fun stuff first. It usually turns out once you get the fun stuff done, it's a little bit easier to start gravitating to get the hard stuff done. Joy equals success. Sometimes we don't equate joy and success together. I've had times in my life when I set a goal and I reached the goal and everyone's patting me on the back saying great job, and I don't feel the same joy that everybody around me is feeling. That's a pretty sorry place to be. When everyone around you is more happier with a goal that you have achieved than you are yourself. And the reason why is because you haven't really set your goals off of joy, and you really have not enjoyed the process of getting to the place that you set. What determines success is joy, your joy. And maybe the people around you may not necessarily understand the goal or the reason you want what you want. That's okay, as long as you understand the purpose behind what it is that you want, and you are enjoying the process to get to the destination that you want to get to. Because trust me, choosing a goal, hating the process of getting there, and then probably you're going to not be so into the final result of that, and therefore you may feel you wasted your time. So be really clear when setting goals. Is this going to bring me joy? And am I going to enjoy the process of getting to the goal? Because if you're not, then it's a good chance that you're barking up the wrong tree. Okay? Subscribe, follow, comment, like. If you're listening on YouTube, then subscribe, like, comment. If you're on the podcast or listening to the episode, be sure to follow. It helps out. It helps to grow the channel. It helps to grow the community if you will subscribe. So please do just that. And you can email me, dj@whatsupwithdj.com. I'm on all social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere. You just type in "What's Up with DJ" podcast. I upload new videos every Monday. So see you next week. Thank you for joining me this time, and take care.
That's our show for this week. Thanks for listening. Please join us next week for another episode. You can contact the show by visiting www.podversation.me or emailing DJ at whatsupwithdj.com. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow on Apple Podcast. Until next week, take care and be blessed.